stop for dollar top, for it's Thanksgiving Day. Over the river and through the woods, oh how the wind does blow. It stings the toes and bites the nose, and over the ground we go. Over the river and through the woods, the clear blue winter sky. The dogs go bark and the children hark as we go jingling by. Over the river and through the wood, when grandmother sees us come, she will say, oh dear, the children are here, and bring pie for everyone. Over the river and through the wood, now grandmother's cap I spy. Hurrah for fun, is the pudding done? Hurrah for pumpkin pie. Good morning.
I'm Linda Kinney, and I'm today's worship associate. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Lancaster. Here we come together to nourish the spirit, connect in love, and act for justice. We welcome you this morning just as you are, whatever your heritage, whatever your faith, however you identify. Today, you are part of the spiritual community. And if this is your first time here, may you soon discover this is also your spiritual community. Please do what you need to do to feel fully present in this space. Move, sway, dance. If doing something with your hands helps you to feel present, feel free to use the hands-on materials on the tables back in the Women's Memorial Room. We also welcome the children and youth of our community because today is a multi-generational worship service. A special welcome to all of those joining the service this morning on Zoom. As has become our Zoom tradition, I invite those on Zoom to turn on your camera and share a wave together. And everyone in the sanctuary, let's wave at the camera at the back of the sanctuary to send our greetings. And at this time, I invite Leslie Laird, a member of the Board of Trustees, to speak.
Good morning. I also welcome all this morning, not just to this space and time, but let us acknowledge in this sacred space the truth of the land beneath and around us. We are gathered on land once inhabited by people known as the Susquehannock and Conestoga. We acknowledge the violent legacies of genocide, displacement, and settlement that led to us being here today, and remind ourselves to live humbly in relation with this land and with all the indigenous peoples still living and loving on this continent. Many indigenous people will say all are relatives. May we live into this truth and aspiration together. As we gather on the fourth Thursday of this month, may we also remember that since 1970, it has been a national day of mourning for the indigenous of this land, a day to dispel myths surrounding the Thanksgiving story and raise awareness about historical and ongoing struggles of the indigenous peoples of the U.S. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce our minister, the Reverend Patricia Guthman Harris.
I'm sorry, Leslie, you stumbled on the easiest one. Patricia. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Sunday before Thanksgiving, Sunday before the day of mourning, Sunday before next Sunday, which, if you can believe it, is the first Sunday of Advent already. We see it in the stores, right? But I welcome everybody, and as we prepare for Thanksgiving, today we're going to get the table ready. We're going to invite guests. We have some guests here today, and we're going to think about what conversations we might have around the table. At the beginning of a meal, many the world over will say a grace or blessing, light candles at the table at their feast. So those of you on Zoom, you might have your chalices ready. And as Linda lights the chalice here, I share a poem from Joy Harjo, who's of the Muskogee Nation. Her poem, Perhaps the World Ends Here. The world begins at a kitchen table. No matter what, we must eat to live. The gifts of earth are brought and prepared, set on the table. So it has been since creation, and it will go on. We chase chickens or dogs away from it. Babies teethe at the corners. They scrape their knees or under it, as well as adults, right? It is here that children are given instructions on what it means to be human. We make men at it. We make women. We make people. At this table, we gossip, recall enemies and the ghosts of lovers. Our dreams drink coffee with us as they put their arms around our children. They laugh with us at our poor falling down selves, and as we put ourselves back together once again at the table. This table has been a house in the rain, an umbrella in the sun. Wars have begun and ended at this table. It is a place to hide in the shadow of terror, a place to celebrate the terrible victory. We have given birth on this table and have prepared our parents for burial here. At this table, we sing with joy, with sorrow. We pray of suffering and remorse. We give thanks. Perhaps the world will end at the kitchen table while we are laughing and crying and eating the last sweet bite. May it be so.
And we gather at this table today. So good morning. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lenore, and I serve this congregation as the Director of Lifespan Faith Development, and my pronouns are she and her. And today we're going to gather around a table right here for a very special feast. And I wonder if any of you are preparing for a special feast this coming week. Many people in the U.S. are going to be celebrating Thanksgiving on Thursday. And everybody does feasts differently, whether it's a Thanksgiving feast or another feast of welcome and fellowship. Sometimes we have one chair at our table, and sometimes we need 15 or 20 chairs at a table. Each household has a different table story. And the first thing that we have to do for a feast is lay the table out, get ourselves ready for the guests to come. So I wonder if there's anybody who can, of any age, who can come up and help me lay out our table. Come on up. Love some help here. We have a basket of tablecloths that some of you may recognize from recent receptions here. A Wonderful. Can we lay out this tablecloth together? Perfect. Thank you. We lay out a tablecloth and we can smooth it out and see how beautiful it is. Somebody made this cloth. Perhaps another one. Reverend Pat, would you take out this one for us? And I wonder how you prepare yourselves for a feast or for community in your life. Maybe one more cloth? And you know, we may have a number of different place settings at a table. Today we will have six different placemats and place settings here. Wonderful. You'll have the chance to see what these are in a little while, and even to take one home for your own feast tables later. Could you please help by putting out 6 of these around here? Thank you. Let's see, we also maybe sometimes light a candle or a chalice at our table. I wonder if we have a chalice here. Here's a chalice that might be familiar to some of the children in the program. Church. Okay, our table is looking beautiful. What do you think? What does it look like? Is it beautiful? I think so. We've got another chair here. Perhaps we could even light the candle on the chalice. The chalice on the table? Oh, and you know what? Something else at our table, which we'll explain in a little while, is this box. Some of you might be familiar with this box. We're going to have this at the table too. Beautiful. I think our table is almost ready for our feast today. Thank you so much for your help. Let's see, so our table has so many things around it. I think we might want some decorations too, Linda. What season is it? Can anybody tell me what season it is? It's autumn, right, so maybe some autumn decorations. Yes, Linda has brought some for us today. And you know, after we've laid out a table, sometimes we like to sing around it. I wonder if you, on your own or in your families of origin or families you've created, in your own practice here at UCL, if you have a song that you like to sing around a table. This one, Amanda Marr, who's our faith development assistant here at UCL, actually led a songwriting workshop for an interfaith studies program and a group of interfaith people who were gathering around their own table. And so several people from that workshop came together to think about what it means to be in community and to gather around a table where many differences are embraced and where people celebrate their common humanity. And so we're actually going to learn this song today. And I'm going to pass you my mic. And the lyrics and sheet music are in your order of service, so if you'd like, you can sing along.
the wine we share. Set the table, bring the chairs, leave the door open wide. Bring yourself and leave your fear till every soul is here inside.
That was beautiful singing, everybody. It's nice to learn a new song around our communal table. I wonder why we have this many place settings at our table. I wonder. There's some places, including a Jewish custom, have a custom of leaving an extra chair out for a guest who might need to come by and share a special meal. And so we have seats laid out for guests here. When I was growing up Unitarian Universalist, we had a special tradition in my congregation, which you might also be familiar with here. It was of laying an extra seat, an extra placemat at our table for a very special guest called the Guest at Your Table program. Has anybody participated in the Guest at Your Table program before? We've had, and I know we've done it here before too. So the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee works every year to partner with organizations that do really amazing, really important work in the world. And to remind us that these organizations, although we might not know specifically, we might not have met the people who are being directly served by the work, that we want to invite those people to share their stories and to have a seat at our table. The USC has sent us boxes, which you can put together. We have some DIY box putting together kits on the way out, and you can take them home with you. Boxes that you can lay out on your tables this holiday season. They have a little slot in here that can fit some spare change when you have it in your pockets, some dollars and cents that you happen to have at the end of your day, whatever you can give to lay the table a little wider open. And this year there are 4 guests, so we have 4 chairs here for our 4 guests at your table. And I will actually introduce one of them by video.
I was born and raised in Rwanda. During my lifetime, our temperature has increased far more than the global average. This was not driven by us. People in the least developed country, like mine, emit 35 times less carbon than those in high-income countries. Rwandans rely heavily on the land, and we are used to coping with the long rainy season and the challenge of our mountainous landscape. But climate change is making things worse, and we are being pushed beyond our ability to adapt. Rain, erode soil, and kill livestock. Land degradation affects the whole community, displacing thousands. My family had a small and cozy home, but like so many others, had to live with just their clothes and bags, forced to move to a communal house. The last period of intense rainfall lasted for 5 months. It destroyed roads and health centers, leading to over 130 deaths. These damages are profound. These losses are irreversible. Climate change disproportionately affects rural girls and women. Daily tasks such as collecting water and cooking wood are made increasingly difficult by droughts and floods that wash away agricultural income, leaving them with nothing. Youth-led climate action can bring these stories of loss and damage that go unseen and unheard to the fore.
We have the power and the knowledge to develop solutions, but we need the right financial support. Our call is for developed countries of the world to listen and to act.
So now we've met Ineza, who is a youth activist for climate change solutions and for investing in community resilience. And we're thinking about what it might mean to welcome in someone at your table. If you're not able right now to welcome in someone who's been affected by climate disaster, who is a climate refugee, what does it mean to lay an extra seat and think about her story? or the story of the people she's working with to amplify today. So we'll have little take-home boxes, and you can take home these and lay these at your table, and we'll be collecting that money again, actually in January. So we have a guest at our table, and I think we actually, now would be a great time to sing our grace. Eli, do you think now would be a good time to sing grace? Okay. This one may also be familiar from our hymnal. Linda's going to help with some of the motions. I invite you, if you're willing and able, to stand or otherwise be present in singing this song, and to follow with some of the motions we have.
I'm sure some of you know this one. Yep. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live again. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
And so we sit down to begin our feast. And at our table are more chairs for special guests, and also some amazing, amazing people are at the table of UCL, some amazing members. And I now invite Fred Foster Clark up front to introduce some very special guests and special members at our table today.
Thank you, Lenore. Melissa, Dan, Samantha, and Marissa, if you'd like to come up as well, you're welcome to. I'm delighted and appreciate the opportunity to be here this morning on behalf of the Board of Trustees and on behalf of the Walters Unitarian Church Trust. I'm going to introduce first, in the middle, Melissa Reed, who is the President and CEO of Planned Parenthood Keystone, and Marissa, right? Fish, okay, also from Planned Parenthood. Sam is sitting in the front. Sam Babelia is on their external affairs, is their external affairs lead. And Dan Wirt, who you all know, Dr. Daniel D. Wirt, who is our special guest of honor today. I'd also like to introduce the members of the Walters Trust Program Committee, led by George Karagiartu at the back. George, I'm trying to see who else might be here. Some may be out on Zoom. The other members would be Judy Hurlbert and Bibi Farmer, Cindy Spots, and Brad Weaver. And we have another very important member of the committee who was appointed specifically by Art Walters, who is Jean Homan, who serves ex officio on the committee and is a very vital force for the committee. So let me get a little assist here. On behalf of the Walters Trust, I'm pleased to present this gift of $15,000 to Planned Parenthood Keystone in honor of Dr. Dan Wirt. And we hope that this check goes to assist the very important work of the now Dr. Daniel D. Wirt Health Center at Lancaster. So on behalf of the congregation, and particularly the Walters Unitarian Trust, I present you this check. Thank you. I know, would you like to speak first, Melissa? Sure. Okay.
Thank you so much, Fred, and thank you so much to the congregation of the Lancaster Unitarian Universalist Church. And this is a special season of Thanksgiving, and I have so much to be thankful for as does Planned Parenthood Keystone. And I know you join me in thanking. One of the things I am most thankful for is Dr. Daniel Wirt, his generosity, his compassion, and his care for this community, and the patients that we serve every day at Planned Parenthood Keystone in Lancaster. So thank you all so much, and a special thank you to Dr. Wirt.
Yeah, I personally want to thank each of you who's here presently and the ones that are looking on from a distance. Thank you for your generosity and your interest and support of our new clinic. And I know these funds will be used to a very good cause, to very essential health care and care that oftentimes is not given in the general public health scene. So again, I want to thank each of you from my heart for your support also of this naming opportunity that I took advantage of, and I'm sure we'll have many years of good service here at the clinic here in Lancaster. Thank you very much.
And don't go away yet. We're afraid that this big check might not work, so we do have the smaller version of the check. Additionally, as many of you know, Planned Parenthood Keystone was a recipient for several months of the Share the Plate collection, so we have a check for that as well. And also Elizabeth Shuba, who is here. You want to stand up quickly? At her ordination, the collection at the ordination ceremony a couple weeks ago also went to Planned Parenthood Keystone. So we have all three checks. Thank you very much.
This next song has a simple message. Draw the circle. So, it repeats a lot. If you happen to pick up the words, feel free to join us. Singing is encouraged. Draw the Circle, words by Gordon Light and music by Mark A. Miller.
No one
I think we'll need a reprise of that another time. We could use that a few times, don't you think? So may we draw the circle wide, but this is the time in the service where we draw also to that center, the center which is our heart, the heart of love. Here's my wish, my prayer, that we remember that every morning brings a promise of a fresh beginning, a fresh start. And may the calm of each night wrap this restless world in stillness and harmony. Impress and keep a vision and dreams of peace alive within our hearts, within the world. Even after the long nights of the soul, may we trust that we will have strength and courage and the loving aid of those around us, this wide circle. May we know tenderness during the upcoming holiday season. We all know we could use some tenderness during this holiday season, and may all of that be so. And I'm going to point out, we have our stones of joys, sorrows, and complex truths, some by the sand over there, but some you'll find right at our table. Perhaps you've had a custom of lighting a chalice at your table on special occasions, or when the family gathers, or when you're alone and wish to have that light of inspiration and remember the community that you're part of. At my house, when my family sits together at the table, and this has been a democratic decision, what we'll always say is we'll go around the table. What is everyone shares what they're thankful for, something that made them happy that day, and they can also share a sorrow or a hope for someone that they're thinking of. We do that at all of our dinners. Linda is going to be placing a stone in the sand for these spoken joys and sorrows. We have a mix of good ones and sad ones today. A stone of celebration for Anastasia Golombuski and Chris Fellows, because they've welcomed their baby into the world, Robin June Gollum Fellows. As Leslie had mentioned, a stone of sadness and remembrance as the National Day of Mourning draws near, as it has for years every Thanksgiving. As we gather at the Thanksgiving table, we might want to just raise that up and share that with each other, that remembrance. And it's especially sad and poignant as today is the Transgender Day of Remembrance, the day after another shooting in Colorado. It's a day to remember those who've been murdered for being who they are, those who face violence daily, those who have lost loved ones or worry for their loved ones. As Reverend Sunshine Wolf says, may we come to a time when we cease to shame children around gender roles and expression. May all who live with the threat of violence find support, strength, community, hope, and safety. May it be so. And whether you're participating on Zoom and have stones and sand or water where you are at home or here, this is a time in silence where people can plant their stones, you could say, in the sand and think about perhaps setting roots of healing and compassion and holding joys and sorrows and complex truths. So you are welcome to come in silence and do that now. May we take just one more moment one more moment of stillness together. I just think, how many times during the week do we get to sit in a room together with people filled with hope, people filled with love, people who are familiar, and just rest in the strength and the power and the glow of that moment. Let's take a moment of stillness to hold those joys and sorrows, spoken and unspoken, in our hearts. Let us be still together.
And when we gather around to share something in common. So something is missing still from our table. I think it might be actually out here somewhere. I think it actually might be in the Wonder Box. I don't see the Wonder Box up here. Does anybody spot the Wonder Box? There's some pointing. There's the Wonder Box. Our Wonder Box has moved. Our Wonder Box has moved. I wonder if we have a volunteer to help open the Wonder Box and see what might be missing from our table, what we could add to our table. All right, come with me. Let's open the box together. I wonder what might be inside here. Can you lift it up? Oh! Let's bring it out. It's bread. It's bread. Thank you. Would you be willing to bring this up to the table with me? Okay, can we show everybody? This is a beautiful bread. It's good. All right. We have found what was missing from our table. Thank you. Thank you so much for your help. All right, and let's lay it right here at the center of our table, shall we? Right next to the stones. Yeah. Is that good? Yeah. Perfect. All right, thank you very much. Now our table feels more complete, doesn't it?
You gotta have bread at the table. Or in my house, we only had it at holiday times. Bread at the table meant a holiday, right? The world begins at the kitchen table. I was thinking about bread at the table. As we were thinking about the service, imagine just about everybody probably has a story about bread at their table. I'm thinking about sometime after I was engaged or married to my partner, John. His mother, Millie, asked me, "What is your people's bread?" I thought, what is she saying? What are my people's bread? Now, John's Southern family's bread was biscuits. I had to tell my Canadian congregation that that's bread and not cookies, right? Biscuits. And they were often found on the table. My mother-in-law said that every meal there were biscuits. You'd have them with ham and gravy in the morning, and you'd have them with your lunch, and you'd have them with your dinner. And because she had 4 or 5 boys in the family, she was the only girl. Sometimes her mom had to get up at the dinner table and make more biscuits for those hungry boys, because sometimes that was a staple, right? They might not have a lot more than biscuits. when Millie married John's dad, he didn't like her style of biscuits. Her family had little biscuits, and his family had big biscuits, so she had to figure out how to make different kind of biscuits. But then I had to think again, what was my family's bread? What were my people's bread? And I know that on those special occasions, my mom's a great baker. She would make yeast breads. She had these caramel rolls and sweet rolls at Easter time, at Thanksgiving. She had these beautiful, shiny cloverleaf, buttery rolls and would put her homemade strawberry jam on those. But then and at Christmas time, she would make yulekaka, which was, so good with our Christmas brunch. But that wasn't our staple. What was the thing that I had every day that I wasn't even paying attention to? And the bread that was found in the Wonder Box is challah. And this would be, it's braided for Sabbath, for Shabbat, because it represents eternity and timelessness. But in my family, Mom would buy challah. That's what I had every day at lunch, was a loaf of challah she'd have on hand. And my peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that I'd bring to school every day was on challah. So that's my sharing today of bread. And I look at challah and I think of the deli where she would get it every week. And she'd walk into the deli and they'd start making fun of her the minute she, oh, Betsy. And it was great fun. And I look at challah and I'm right back in that favorite deli we would go to when I was a little girl. So what's your people's bread, right? I've also left some matzo down on the table for our congregational meeting, because matzo was always in our cupboard. And even though sometimes we think of that as just being around at Passover time, in our house we had it all the time. My mom would dip it into her coffee for breakfast, and she remembered that her dad used to make scrambled up eggs with matzah for her breakfast. But anyway, and I would sneak into it and eat it and have it with butter. So I've brought butter for you to have with your matzah today. And I don't know, maybe you all make bread to have around the house or get it at the grocery store. Really just about every people have bread. Store-bought pasty white bread, which thankfully I got the challah instead, or Middle Eastern pita, or Persian lavash, or in the southwestern U.S. there's Navajo fried bread, Eastern European pierogies. Here in town, would it be pretzels? Would that be the thing? That might be the local bread. Mexican tortillas, Italian focaccia, so many different kinds of bread. It's been around, they think, since Neolithic times, since the dawning of humanity. A people may not have always had fresh meat or fruit or vegetables, but they would form something from a paste, and after a while with yeast, and would put it over the fire, and they would have something to eat. I remember hearing the story. There's a reason why in the story that Jesus said, remember me by this, bread and wine, because in Jesus's time, the bread was your life, your very life of life. And if you stole somebody's bread, that was one of the worst crimes there would be, because you were basically taking their life, their very sustenance from them. Anyway, I think we have just what we're going to do is we're going to share one more bread story, and then we're going to ask you all to share some bread stories among yourselves. But Fred and Cindy, I think you have a bread story.
Morning. The recipe that I use to make the bread I brought today is a recipe from a woman named Mary Steer. And Fred and I met Mary Steer at our first UU church, which was in Albany, New York. And at the time, Fred and I had recently moved to Albany, and we were there for graduate school. And we really hadn't found a church home since we had gotten married recently. And we got involved in the UU church there because, well, that's a longer story, but part of the reason was we got involved in their food co-op, and they had a potluck dinner. They often had potluck dinners when they did a auction. But we met Mary Steer in her bread, and when we asked for the recipe, she was very gracious in sharing the recipe. And she and others there really made us feel very welcomed and valued, and also taught us the value of being in an intergenerational community. And at the time, Mary and her husband were probably the age of Fred and I at this point. And it's a really good dark rye recipe, and we still always refer to it as Mary Steer's bread. And many, many years later, like 40.
Thank you, Cindy. So I wonder what memories of bread, or perhaps another special food on your table, it's the special food, are coming up for you now. We're going to invite you to turn to one other person. If you'd rather just think, you can put your hand on your heart and reflect, but turn to one other person and ask them, what's your people's bread? And then to listen to the answer. And we'll take perhaps just, a minute and a half, 2 minutes for each person's turn. And if you want to find a person who you haven't come with, that would be great. Look at you all. So many stories. That was beautiful to hear the babble and know that each person was carrying something really sacred and important. Thank you for sharing. Maybe just a couple of words of breads or names of people who came to mind during this. Just shout them out.
Braided Italian Easter bread.
Braided Italian Easter bread.
Sourdough.
Sourdough. Sue's Daily Bread. Sue's Daily Bread. Wonder Bread. Roman meal bread. Native American fry bread. Tomato sauce.
Bill's brother's bread, because the bread man who delivered it was by Cooley, my girlfriend and I.
A story about buying Hill's Brothers bread? Yes. And probably many more. So thank you for sharing your stories. And when we break bread together at other times, please feel free to ask that question again. And the holidays are a great time to think about the people that you like to connect with. And maybe that's people that you share a table with, or maybe that's people that you text or call on a holiday when you're needing a break from the people you're sharing a table with. But regardless of the special people that are in your life, I wanted to offer you these are the placemats on our table today. They're from StoryCorps' The Great Thanksgiving Listen. And next week on Zoom, we're going to explore this more, but please feel free to take one home with you and be inspired by the questions, the invitations to conversation that are on here, because such an important part of the table is sharing and listening deeply. I bet it felt good to share, and I bet it felt good to listen this morning. All right. Okay. So now let us sing in thanks and in gathering.
So as we do this, I invite you to sing along. This is one of my more favorite hymns, right? So by the fourth time through, I invite you to be brave and sing along with me, because I won't be singing the exact melody, I promise.
What's the number?
Number 1010, We Give Thanks. Feel free to stand if you so feel. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for those gathered here and those far away, for the time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Let's do it again, ready? Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. What else are you thankful for? For all gathered here and those far away, for the food we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Let's go, get ready. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for those gathered here and those far away, for the food we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Last time, everyone, we give thanks for this precious day, for those gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
So this is the time in our service when we will pass the plate and accept your offerings. And you may also go to our website to make a donation online. A portion of the offering today will be shared today and this month with the Common Wheel, a nonprofit bike shop with a mission to transform our community. Before we pass the plate, let's read in unison the affirmation of faith. It's found in the front of your hymnal, and I think it will appear in the Zoom chat. We'll say it first in English and then in Spanish. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. El amor, el espíritu, en esta iglesia. Y el servicio es su ofrenda. Este es nuestro pacto. El convivir unidos en paz. El buscar la verdad en amor. Y ayudarnos unos a los otros. Plates may now be passed. And while we're passing the plates, I have a few announcements. So do look at our weekly email newsletter, the Love Letter, for weekly need-to-knows and events at UUCL, as well as our Facebook page and website calendar. And if you don't already receive the newsletter, you can contact our office and we'll put you on our email list. Today, please stay for bread and refreshments in Founders Hall downstairs as we gather for a congregational meeting. Stay on the Zoom link if you would like to participate in the meeting via Zoom. As you may remember, the celebration of life for John and Barbara Snyder's son John will be on Saturday at the Groff Funeral Home. 10 a.m. will be the visitation with the service at 11. Next Sunday, November 27th, worship will be on Zoom only. You may want to lay out your great Thanksgiving list and placemats that you'll be taking home today. And Lenore will lead us online in more chances to share the stories that make our web of life. And I invite you to greet your neighbors in the pew in front of and behind you. So please join in reading our covenant, which is found in your order of service. We covenant to provide a welcoming community for all ages, respecting diversity and the inherent worth and dignity of all. Trusting good intentions, we strive to live courageously in love, service, and spiritual growth, and to work for peace and justice in the world.
These words as we extinguish the chalice. On this Sunday before Thanksgiving, let us give thanks for a bounty of people, for children who are our second planting, and though they grow like weeds and the wind too soon blows them away, may they forgive us our cultivation and fondly remember where their roots are. Let us give thanks for generous friends with hearts and smiles as bright as their blossoms, for feisty friends as tart as apples, for continuous friends who, like scallions and cucumbers, keep reminding us that we've had them. For crotchety friends, as sour as rhubarb and as indestructible. Kind of chewy, right? And for handsome friends who are as gorgeous as eggplants and as elegant as a row of corn. And the others as plain as potatoes and so good for you. For funny friends who are silly as Brussels sprouts and as amusing as Jerusalem artichokes, and serious friends as complex as cauliflowers and as intricate as onions. For friends as unpretentious as cabbages, as subtle as summer squash, as persistent as parsley, as delightful as dill, and endless as zucchini. And who, like parsnips, can be counted on to see you throughout the winter. For old friends nodding like sunflowers in the evening time, and young friends coming on as fast as radishes. And for loving friends who wind around us like tendrils and hold us, despite our blights, wilts, and witherings. For friends now gone who fed us in their time, that we might have life thereafter. For all our friends and more, we give thanks. So let us go in peace, go in joy, go in love, and go down to Founders Hall and have bread and our congregational meeting.
And as we slow down and leave with a more traditional hymn, join me in singing hymn number 69, Give Thanks. Give thanks for the corn and the wheat that are reaped, for labor well done, and for barns that are heaped, for the sun and the dew and the sweet honeycomb, for the rose and the song and the harvest brought home. Give thanks for the mills and the farms of our land, for craft and the strength in the work of our hands, for the beauty our artists and poets wrought, for the hope and affection our friendships have brought. Give thanks for the homes that which kindness are blessed, for seasons of
you and Founders.